anyway, you form or learn an expectation, right? That's the first step. The second is you communicate that expectation. And the third is the behavior is adapted to meet that expectation in the person you're observing. And then the fourth is the expectation occurs. So it's a self. The expectation that you have of someone eventually becomes that.
And it has to be bad for it to be called the golden effect?
Yes. The positive of that is if you have high expectations for someone, they fulfill that expectation.
Okay. So like everyone thought Frodo would get the ring to Mordor. But he wouldn't have been able to do it without Gollum, even though Gollum was right? Is that the Gollum effect?
He was motivated by the Gollum effect.
Yeah, he was.
It is not the Gollum effect.
I saw that movie.
Yeah.
I know what Gollum did.
Okay.
Calm down.
That's not Gollum told the teachers that these students that they randomly selected were going to have potential for intellectual growth and that they'd be sure to bloom academically within 1 year. 8 months later, sure enough, the students who were picked scored significantly higher on their tests.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the Pygmalion effect?
That's the Pygmalion effect.
Okay.
And then they did a similar study with students where they picked some students. They said, well, these ones we expect to do well, these ones we expect to do poorly,
And they're ugly. Right? Why not? Like, if you're gonna shit on kids, why not just go all the way?
Well, here's the thing. The likelihood of the teacher's susceptibility to biases is quite unique. So they found that it affects students when the teacher is more susceptible to bias. And a lot of people it's a cognitive bias.
No, I wrote my buddy's his son was in junior high, and I wrote his paper for him. One day he was having some kind of barbecue, and the kid couldn't come out and screw around because he was upstairs writing a paper. And I'm like, let me take a crack at that. So I just wrote his paper, like, no big deal. It took like 20 minutes. He got a fucking C. I got a C, and I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. I know for a fact that that paper was not read, and that it was just graded based on what this kid traditionally gets, which is like in the C range. Like it pissed me off so immediately, and so, like, I'm still mad about it. It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you got a C, buddy. You failed this kid's test.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, that's what I usually get. I'm like, what do you mean that? You didn't write the paper, you motherfucker! I wrote it!
How old is he? Oh, man.
He was in junior high. How old is that?
Maybe 12, 13.
Yeah.
Brandon, I think you'll like this one. It's blood-covered mountains for some reason.
I'm saying here, I want to go to that school.
To be fair, Dick, some of your pros can be very confusing, as we heard in the last episode.
I got a voicemail on that.
Oh, go ahead.
We'll
We'll hear it at the end of the show. Yeah, some of it can be very confusing.
I didn't want to bring in Trump again, though, so I didn't play it.
Oh, well, you mentioned it. There you go. You lost the bet. Hey, but maybe you got the C, Dick, because your nephew or whoever had low expectations of you. Maybe that was the Gollum effect.
What do you mean, my friends
Your
had
friends did,
low
yeah.
expectations of me?
Yeah, maybe that's the Gollum effect.
No, he didn't care. He just didn't want to write the paper.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, guys, this now here's where I want to tie it into something that's more, I guess, prescient. This could be related to the reason why more women aren't comedians, and people. No, it's true.
You have plenty of people.
Of course, people believe women aren't funny, so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, I didn't really.
You think women are hilarious, right?
Well, sure. Okay. I don't know. That's such a fucking load. I hate the way you ask that.
Why is it so loaded? Why? What's wrong with that question? Okay, good. I just wanted that on the record.
I gotta be honest though. When I was doing research for this problem, I wasn't thinking about this specific application of the Gollum effect until this literal sentence that I wrote down about women being, people thinking that women are funny. And
who thinks that?
A lot of people.
Oh.
A lot of people think
Jared
women are
Lewis.
funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's a
And
lot
he's
of.
also 100 years old and probably pisses himself when he gets up.
That's pretty funny.
He's a comedian. He was always
Yeah.
a physical commentator.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. If you search Google right now for the phrase "women aren't funny," you'll find thousands, hundreds of thousands of results, and it's because people have that perception. And then maybe that perception becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is what it says, this according to Wikipedia. When arbitrarily informed that a particular student is bright or dull, not only will a supervisor
guess I can stop and tell you what I'm doing while the glue dries. So this red, that's, here I'll show you. The wood is coated with red, and that's a epoxy that I used. And the problem is, the epoxy is very, very thick, and it dries very fast. And so the air bubbles that get trapped in it don't have time to escape. And so when you cut into it, you have these holes where there's air bubbles that are trapped inside. And so what I do is I fill it with glue so that when you sand it, it looks like a smooth surface. I really haven't found a way to get the air bubbles out. I can't pressurize it because the goo is like leaking everywhere and it wouldn't stay on top of the peaks. And I tried a heat gun, and that overheated it and changed the color of it, which I don't want. So it's really evading me the best way to fix these things, but I don't do them very often, so I haven't really had to deal with it that much yet. So now it looks totally smooth across it. It's very scratched up, but it's totally smooth, so cool. That's annoying.
Or attention, the students themselves will exhibit behaviors in line with their labels. such as the bright students leaning more forward in their chairs relative to the dull students. So it's maybe kind of like learned behavior that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because you keep telling women they're not funny, they're not funny, they're not funny. But then I look at the number of stand-up comics I see at an open mic, and I take the percentage of funny male comedians and the percentage of funny female comedians, and they're pretty.
It's both about zero.
Yeah, they're both hovering right around
That's
zero.
really not funny.
Yeah, I went to an open mic a long time ago, and there
Did you
were
perform?
no, hell no. There were 50 comedians. 50 comedians came up all night long, and you know, I think only about 10 of them were women. And of those, I think 2 of them were funny. But then of the guys, only about 10 were funny. It's about the same percentage. And I thought, well, there you go. It's not that there aren't funny women, it's that there are fewer female comedians, and that's why we have the perception that women aren't funny. Because most of the, I know so many funny women.
Numbers wise, isn't that true then? You got 10 funny guys there and 2 funny women.
Out of like
There you
10. Yeah, exactly. 10 out of, yeah, exactly.
go. I mean, it's not always percentages though.
No.
You're saying numbers wise. Oh, there's more funny guys. 10 and 2.
Well, exactly. But there were more guys auditioning. You don't think of the guys who audition and fail. You don't think of those guys. You only see the funny ones, and then you
That's
think, oh,
how it
guy's
looks.
funny. And then there aren't that many funny female comedians because there aren't that many female comedians.
Well-
I know lots of funny female comedians. I know so many. Some of the funniest people I know in my life are women.
Yeah.
We have them on the show. I think Robin Higgins is hilarious. You should check
Yeah.
out her Wheel of Fortune
She's
expose.
great.
Yeah,
She's
fantastic.
great. I don't think that. Do you think that women are constantly being told that they're like? It seems to me all I ever hear is women are hilarious. They can do science and math. They can be whatever size and shape they want. Like I have never heard maybe some off the wall Jerry Lewis clip
Jerry
from
Lewis, yeah.
way long ago. That isn't. But all I hear is women could do anything and they're funny all the time. Do you really think they get the message that they're not, that they shouldn't be funny?
Yes. Hey,
Where-
even Adam Carolla, not too long ago, and this quote was taken out of context to be fair to Adam, but even Adam Carolla a while ago said that if there is a woman in a comedy room, she's there because she's a woman, not necessarily because she's funny. And he was making a statement not about women, but a statement about how there's kind of like this affirmative action going on in our culture.
Which is certainly true.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what he was making a statement about. But
I mean, how many times have you seen like releases go out saying we're only looking for female comedians
Oh, of course.
to staff this writing job?
yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's
To
sexist.
me.
And it's trying to right some perceived wrong in our society or our culture.
And sometimes we all lose. Like in the case of writing, it's like you want the best writers, right?
Yeah, like in
Right.
the new Ghostbusters, we're all gonna lose that one, right?
Oh boy.
No, but see, okay, but this is what I was back to my point. You're saying 2 funny females and 2 funny women, 10 funny guys, right?
Yeah.
That's more. Saying that the percentages, I don't think is, people aren't really, like, the percentages takes a whole nother element. If you're like, well, this is who came out to be funny. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why it was so many less women.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna guess. It's just, that's what we ended up with.
I'm with you, Dick, but here's where my perception of that kind of changed. I dated a bunch of girls, and I was surprised that they all had a similar background. They all said that they were really interested in computer science and mathematics in college and high school. I said, well, so what happened? And this one girl specifically told me that in college, she joined her class and she felt that the professor really, really didn't like her. She felt right from the get-go the professor looked at her differently. He was this older Indian dude who thought that women don't belong in that profession, and he made it clear.
Do we know that?
Yes.
Okay.
We know that. He made it clear to her. He said that he questioned why she was taking the class in the first place and if it was an accident. He constantly quizzed her. He constantly quizzed her on her knowledge and made her work harder to prove herself. And then she finally had evidence of bias from this professor when she did a group project, and she wrote all the code. And it was the exact same code that like the entire group had turned in. Everyone in her group got an A except she got a B for that exact same project. And that's when she knew. She went to the professor, she went to the dean, and they eventually reversed her grade, but the guy still worked there. Another example, I dated another girl who, in computer science,
Yeah.
she was in a computer science class. She had a great interest in mathematics and programming. The professor kept hitting on her and kept hitting on her and kept hitting on her. And eventually it got so out of control that that the professor asked her to stay after class and to, for some extra credit or something, and it was really creepy shit you see like in movies and things like that. And she said that she was too skeeved out because that was the only teacher in high school who was teaching computer science, so she dropped out of the major. She lost interest. So I changed my opinion on this.
Institutionalized sexism.
Yeah, it does happen.
Should bring in men. That's a problem.
Well, I don't think men are a
Somebody
problem.
should.
I think sexism is a problem, but it goes both ways. But that there is something to that. There is something to that. Some women do get that message that they are not welcome in comedy. They're not welcome in science and mathematics. And I'm not saying that that's the majority of the cause, because if you're too weak to overcome people who aren't welcoming to you in the
Yeah.
community, try fucking gaming. Okay, everyone fucking hates you all the time, always.
Or try doing physical labor. Like,
Yeah.
that's not welcoming because it's physical and
Yeah.
labor. But,
Yeah.
or, go get a microphone and stand on stage and speak your mind. There's gotta be gender equality there, holy shit. But
Yeah.
running a leaf blower, we don't know.
Yeah.
You keep doing that one.
Well, it's even more of a problem. The Gollum effect is even more of a problem because it's understudied due to ethical concerns. Back to the drug thing. A lot of things we can't study in society because we have ethical concerns. Specifically, and here we go. I think this is from Wikipedia again. Specifically, the concern arises in trying to operationalize negative expectations in individuals, which will theoretically result in the lower performance of the individual. The worry then is that it's possibly harmful, lingering effects on research participants beyond the study due to this manipulation. So essentially, if you're trying to test someone to see if the Gollum effect actually works, that test itself may have long-lasting impacts and psychological results that you don't intend, far-reaching beyond the study. So it's kind of hard to study even from the get-go. I mean, these researchers did these studies in spite of those ethical concerns, and maybe they weren't aware of them at the time.
Trailblazers. Getting results.
Yeah.
That's what it takes
Yeah.
in science.
And I mean, your hope is that you don't permanently damage people when you're testing them. But anyway, it's a big problem because it's even difficult to study. The Gollum effect.
Lowered expectations.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a big
Lowered
problem.
expectations that turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay, but isn't that the danger of lower expectations?
That what?
That's the only thing that's wrong with them, right? Lower expectations that turns into or self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, lowered expectations that become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, this has affected you personally too, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, what are you doing on this podcast?
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? You did that last week too. Don't you want to talk about addiction?
Oh yeah.
What do you want to know?
By the way, I shouldn't have put that out there without asking you first before the show. Sorry.
I still don't know what you want to know
Oh, I was just curious if you had any stories to share. That's all I wanted to know.
about addiction.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
I don't even know. I don't even know where to start with that, man.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
I don't know how to respond to the. Do I have any experience with lowered
No,
expectations?
but if someone has lower expectations of you, don't you then fulfill them?
Shit, I have no fucking idea off the top of my head.
I'm basically just going because the answer is yes. I'm basically just goading you into playing so I can play this clip. Here's the clip.
Oh, their dick versus dick.
It's not because you didn't contradict yourself.
Yeah.
But here's just something you've said in the past.
Well, I'm 100% sure. If I'm gonna get treated like a criminal, I will behave like a criminal. Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. That's exactly the Gollum effect. When you
brought in that
expect-
clip of me to play to me?
well, as an example of how it can affect all of us.
Well, I think
Oh,
that
man.
effect has been studied in that capacity.
Yeah.
A lot of people in inner cities, are treated and looked at like criminals, and they behave that way, and they think there's a solid connection between them.
Right, absolutely. You expect people, and this goes back to the war on drugs. The black thing. You expect people to do drugs or be caught for it because they're incarcerated at a much higher rate. Then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe you get
Doesn't
people
according to the stats, though. They do even less.
Yeah, but they get arrested for it more.
Yeah.
And then maybe that leads them down a life of crime. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But the Gollum effect is it can be devastating to people. It's something that you have to be aware of. But it's really difficult because the way that we think about people.
Because a lot of times we're right.
No.
A lot of times prejudice is right.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Well, okay.
Of course it is.
Stereotypes for sure.
A lot of the times your gut's right. Like, yeah, these kids aren't going to do well. They probably won't.
No,
I don't know.
that's literally the Gollum effect that I'm describing. You can't have it's it's really dangerous to have those expectations of people because
Yeah.
they become self-fulfilling.
Well, maybe they're just fulfilling, and everyone's aware of it.
Well, that's also a possibility,
Sure.
but we know, I mean, based on that study, well, look, it's much easier to study the Pygmalion effect. They're very similar. And the Pygmalion effect doesn't have long-lasting, damaging effects on the participants. You can have higher expectations of students and then see that they fulfill those expectations. Now, that's not a perfect study because some of those students may happen to be higher aptitude just by chance that you included in your study. So you may have accidentally selected a few that were going to do well anyway. However, it's unlikely that the 20% that you randomly selected, all of them do better.
Now, what if you have a really bright kid, but they still can't achieve their parents' expectations?
Well, I got a problem for you coming up, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But anyway, that's my problem, guys, the Gollum effect.
The problem too is about students who are really like, what are their accomplishments? They did okay on a test. Who fucking cares?
Well, that's all you can do at that age. I mean,
Yeah.
you can only do what are you going to do? You're
And that's
not going
also
to win the Nobel Prize at that age.
And that's also the way they're able to study kids is in elementary school. But they have found this to be the case in organizational structures as well, like at
Oh,
work.
yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be interesting.
Absolutely. At work, they found these same things when bosses randomly select certain employees with certain expectations.
Who in their life has ever needed to say ducking?
Well, what are you hunting? What are you doing this afternoon?
I'm going
Hunting?
ducking. That's what I'm doing.
What are you doing when a ball's coming at your head?
A duck.
Yeah. But what's the act of ducking?
Yeah, right. I mean, when would you? Who has ever said that?
Yeah.
How fucked is autocorrect that it ever replaces anything with ducking?
I hate it.
No one's ever said it. No one in the history of the world.
Yeah.
You could throw any word in there. Probably used it more than ducking.
Mm-hmm. My fucking phone. I never type shifting. I'm never
Ducking,
shifting.
my ducking phone.
Yeah. I'm never having a shifty day, asshole.
Yeah.
Guess what kind of day I'm having? It's not fucking shifty.
Shotty, I'm gonna go take a shot. Actually, that's 50-50.
What are you doing? I'm taking a shot right
Taking a
now.
shot right
yeah. Yeah, for you, dude. Your phone is so confused with that one. Because sometimes you're doing both.
Yeah, he types them equally.
Yeah.
Doesn't know which one to choose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I've been taking shots, I don't care. That's the other thing with autocorrect. Every time it fucks it up, I know what I meant. I know the person on the other end knows what I meant, but I feel compelled to correct it so I don't look like an idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
Or somehow I'm not disrespecting them, right? Like I'm like a mafia don all of a sudden. Like, no disrespect, Don. I meant to say fucking. I'm gonna correct that. I would never let a computer talk to you in lieu of me. Like,
Yeah.
right? That's this weird thought process.
I've turned off, thankfully you're able to do this in the Google Dictionary, but you can turn off filters for safe words. So thankfully, my phone mostly gets fucking correctly, especially even during voice to text, it gets fucking
Oh,
done
really?
correctly. Yeah, I'll do it right now. I'll talk.
Moment of
I'm gonna
truth
talk
right
and
there, huh?
record, and we'll see how much of this it gets correctly. But go on, Dick. What's your other problem with voice to text? Or I'm sorry,
No,
autocorrect.
it's autocorrect.
Ducking autocorrect.
Yeah, that there's no cursing in it. And okay, here's the other bad part about autocorrect.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's no way for me to know if life would be better without it. Like, I use it and I hate it, but I'm afraid to turn it off because what if the alternative is so, like, what if I'm so bad at typing it just turns into like a bunch of Q-word speak when I'm
Okay.
trying to talk, right?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. Do I have to conduct my own experiments on the UI of my phone to see which one's worse? I don't want to do that.
Well,
I just deal with it. It's right on. This is what, remember that Louis C.K. thing when he said,
Watch you jerk off.
yeah, to those girls that he allegedly imprisoned in his hotel room. Yeah, you remember that? It was, okay, his part of his routine was like how everyone's toiling. And this thing's beaming in from space, right? You should have more respect for the technology in front. That was his thing.
right.
Trust that. Now, this shoddy, shitty technology, this fucking autocorrect, it rides that thin line between totally making me insane and being useful. Like, I don't know what side of the fence I'm on. Online tracking, pizza tracking, useful. 100% useful. So useful I can't even see it down on the usefulness graph, right? Autocorrect? Right on the line. Right on the line of zero. I don't know which side it's on. Is this fucking with me or is this helping me?
I'm on the slightly positive side of it.
Well, we all are. That's why we have it on. But I'm too afraid. What if we're not?
Well, let's experiment. Right now, I'm going to record, going forward, the rest of this episode in autocorrect and see how much of it translates.
Is voice to text?
Yeah, right now, I'm doing voice to text, and I'm going to see how much of this translates correctly for autocorrect. And we're going to post this on the website, but the rest of this conversation, we're going to see how much of it translates.
It also takes all the personality out of your text.
Yeah.
If I want to text like, whoa, right? It just sends me to whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I already fucking sent it. Now what am I going to say to this person? Whoa, again, now I'm desperate. Right? Like this, we're all stuck with these limited reactions.
And it never gets the right number of pause in there. Because I never want it, like, if I'm saying that H-A-H-A-H, that's usually, like, something I actually chuckle at. But it adds extra H-A's, like, it makes me look like an idiot, like, flirting with this guy. Yeah, there's so many ahs. What the hell? That's not the funniest fucking thing I've ever read. Oh, my fucking phone. Shit. This guy's gonna think less of me now because the number of H's he has.
He's gonna feed me all the shit now.
Yeah,
He's gonna say,
oh,
you really like that joke? Here's all my 1 and 2 material. You're gonna love this, you fucking pig.
Yeah.
Slop. I got blocked. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Now, you're never getting rid of Haas. You know what's good with Haas? Separates them. Haas, face,
Yeah.
Haas. It's like, what the fuck? Am I a computer?
Yeah,
Am I a comic book?
A robot pretending to be human, like trying to act like a human. We know you, robot. No human adds spaces in their pods. They're not distinct. I know they sound like distinct syllables to your shitty fucking computer brain, but they're not assholes.
And somebody programmed that.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how do I go space, ha, space, ha?
Yeah.
That programmer sat there and did that.
This is by far the most Seinfeld episode we've ever done. You know what many episodes there would be of texting existing in the world?
There's a modern Seinfeld Twitter account.
Yeah.
That does that. It's pretty fun.
That's what I've heard that.
How about auto-correcting things into sex? How is it miss-fucking and shit, but it will throw a sex in there when I didn't want it to be? Look, when I type, if I want sex to be in a text, I typed it. I don't want you throwing it in there. Like,
Yeah.
you sure you mean come here for some sex at the office? No, I didn't. Well, now I gotta explain something that we both know. We both know why it happened. I gotta compulsively explain it. Like I have this. Like I'm the only one on earth in the office with a magical device that fucks up my text. Everybody has it.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. I'll call you when it's sex. Oh,
My
man.
mom sent me a text one time for an In-N-Out hamburgers order.
Yeah.
What's the style we get at In-N-Out? There's, they got
Talking stuff.
no, they got a bunch of
Animal
style.
style.
Animal style. What did I get from mom? Mom, text me order. I don't want to remember it, write it down. I only think it just text it to me. Yeah, I think I'd like a cheeseburger, animal style. I'm just driving home. I'm not even getting the hamburgers. I'm never eating it In-N-Out again. Thanks a lot, autocorrect. I'm pretty sure if somebody wanted something replaced with anal, they would have written anal in the text. That's not a replaceable word.
You know, Dick, so we're having a lot of fun with this. We're doing, but a lot of this is voice to text. Voice to text, but
all mine.
What, you type anal instead of animal?
She must have gotten close to animal, but like their bet with the Voyager, which one's closer? They said, well, I'm pretty close to animal, but I'm also pretty close to anal. I'll just go with anal. Fuck it. But, equally likely that someone would have used this word.
Yeah.
Pretty close to fucking, also pretty close to ducking, probably meant ducking.
Probably ducking.
Also, this phone is perfectly suited for a nuclear holocaust where everybody's ducking and covering all the time. You know, ducking and covering and shooting shit.
You know what the problem is, Dick? It's lawyers. Because they don't want Google. Yeah, the lawyers is the problem. Because they don't want, Google doesn't want to accidentally put in the word fucking when someone actually meant ducking or anything else. They're playing on the side, you know, they'll be like, our program's not good enough, you know, to figure out fucking lawyers. Yeah, I think they're covering their ass. So that if someone doesn't accidentally send a text to someone, to their boss, and get fired for it, just in the off chance that they meant ducking.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
That's more lawyers, man. I read a bunch of articles on. I tried to research this. Of course, plenty of apologists saying that I'm wrong. Oh, the reason that you hate this is because there's something wrong with you. I doubt it. And that when anyone gives me that answer, I doubt it instantly. What are you getting paid by autocorrect? Are you? Does it call you every night, or did it leave your pet's head in your bed? Why the duck are you defending autocorrect?
Big autocorrect.
Yeah.
Paying him
What
off.
is wrong with you?
What's your
You
angle
defended
shit?
this
You know
thing.
what it is? It's fucking iPhone users. It's always touch screens with these assholes. Because without touch screens, before that shit, if you guys can remember back in the day when we had fucking keyboards you could feel and you could type quickly and it was correct all the time, you didn't need this fucking shitty autocorrect all the time for every fucking word. And that's why your batteries are dead, shitheads. Yeah, do I have an iPhone 5 charger? No, fuck you. Turn off autocorrect, get a fucking keyboard.
Yeah, whoever invented autocorrect should be shit.
How long were you saving that?
Just now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I swear that hasn't even had anything to do with.
All right, I'm gonna grab a drink and do another one.
Yeah, I was just thinking we've shit and ducking. I'm not defending that joke to you. Fuck you.
Oh man, this transcript's gonna be hilarious, I think. Or two. Oh, fantastic.
I read some shit about autocorrect making people stupider.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't buy that. It was like a third of people can't spell, a third of people couldn't spell definitely and separate.
What do they spell defiantly?
Well, I don't know, but I bet they knew when I meant fucking and when I meant ducking.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? I think it's just a really bad Markov chain. They have these Markov chain models that try to predict what you're saying in context, and they're able to. It's basically how if you guys have ever used the app SwiftKey, SwiftKey does it by creating these models that look at your text and then try to predict based on context and other things you've written in the past what you meant to say. And mine is actually surprisingly good. This isn't autocorrect, but it is auto phrasing. so it suggests the next phrase that I'm. There came a point a long time ago when I was on
Does it
Tinder.
suggest I'm a writer? Oh, you put I'm, does it say a writer?
You want to see what it suggests?
Yeah,
This is like, here,
I would
I'll show
love to
you.
see that.
I'll show you. I'll show you. You'll love
I'm.
this. You'll love this. Hold on.
Yeah, if you type in I'm and the next word isn't the, I'll be very upset.
Dick, I typed in I'm an, and then I want you to read what the 3 suggestions are.
Great, probably. Let me see it.
Underappreciated genius.
Hold on.
Oh, author,
Uh-huh.
asshole,
Uh-huh.
and idiot.
Yep.
Excellent.
I'm an author. He says I'm an author as much as he says I'm an idiot.
Phenomenal.
Or asshole. It says I'm an asshole, author, idiot. Those are the 3 suggestions when I type in
What if
I'm
you just
an.
type in I'm? Right?
You want to
Probably.
it's not
No,
super
and
hard,
running
dickhead.
but-
Oh, it's kind of an exaggeration. The suggestions are I'm and then not and then
It's
at
annoying,
and then
there's
sorry.
a-
Let's see what it says right after not. I'm not.
I'm sorry.
It says
I
I'm
know
not.
he never says that.
Fuck you, Sean. I say it all the fucking time. I'm a great apologizer, shithead. I brought in people who are bad at apologies because I'm good at them. I figured it out. I know how to
You
apologize.
figured out how to manipulate your
Right
apologies.
there,
so
that's not
perfect.
super
No, I'm a good
difficult.
apologizer. It says, so I'm not sure if you're waiting for this file from me or if you're getting me the 3D renders so I can composite them in the video.
That's your most used sentence.
I guess that's my most used sentence. I'm not sure if you're waiting for this file from me or if you're getting me the 3D renders so you can composite them in this video.
That's my problem.
Yeah, good problem, Dick. I'll post that transcript. It's ridiculous on the website. But anyway, guys, we ran out of time. I'm not going to get to my problem this week. I'll bring it in next week. It's a good
Excuse
one,
me.
though. So,
Happy 420 to all the libertarians out there. Happy States' Rights Day.
oh my gosh. Look, yeah, the important takeaway is legalize drugs so that we can regulate them, make sure they're clean, you're getting the product that you're supposed to have. My problem this week is the Gollum effect.
Wait, why are you laughing?
I guess
Because
it's
it's
no
the war
war
on drugs and ducking autocorrect. I got it.
Thanks for listening.
Why is that funny? Explain it to me.
He's talking about regulation and libertarianism,
Yeah.
how they're conflicting ideas.
Oh, is that what? Yeah, everyone just thinks that libertarians just hate all regulation.
Well, no
It's like-
libertarian
it's
will
like-
go on the record saying which regulations they're in favor of.
Well, drugs is a big thing to regulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A libertarian will go on the record.
no, you can't.
What do you mean?
They're all slippery.
What do you mean? I think they're slippery because you fundamentally don't understand the ideology.
No, I understand it. I get it. Because a lot of people confuse me as a libertarian. In fact,
Oh God, no! You're as authoritarian as it gets.
you're as authoritarian as it gets. You support Trump, who is actually an authoritarian. He's neither conservative
Yeah,
nor
bring it up.
liberal.
Where's your
He's an
inner one,
authoritarian.
Randy?
You said Trump earlier. You lost the debate.
You brought in Trump.
but
You
only
said in
because
his
you
comment,
mentioned
building
Trump.
a wall.
You
I
mentioned
didn't say
Trump so
anything.
much on the show.
I'm taking
Okay, so much.
$12 from both of you.
All right. Oh, here's the Dick versus Dick. Oh my God, that one got blasted. Do you admit that you're wrong yet on your horrible Dick versus Dick last time?
Here's the thing. No, hold on. If you say that that's what you meant, and it was a joke, I'm not going to question you as the author of your book.
I mean, your
That's fine.
editor edited it.
Hold on, I know, I understand, but hold on. The reason I brought that in
Sorry.
is,
Go ahead.
the reason I brought that in is because dozens of people emailed me the same thing, and they were all confused in the same way. Now, if that's not what you meant, that's not what you meant. But you could have very easily
Jeremy
worded
Lee stuck up. You're saying that your editor, Jeremy Lee Strauss, who edits the content of my book, who I find out unilaterally on, he's way better at writing than me.
Jeremy's job is to edit for clarity, not for voice. So if that's your voice and that's the style that you write in,
So
that's
right,
your
he
voice.
edited for clarity, meaning that he clarified it perfectly for any reasonable person who's reading it.
People weren't paying attention to the commas that offset that phrase within the
It was
sentence.
dashes, but people wanted it to be true so bad they wanted to get it and they didn't feel it properly. And you instead, you just passed along what people gave you, and you got sounded like a dick.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's going to sound like dicks. If so many people are confused, it's not a very clearly written passage. Now, if you say that that was a joke, I'm not going to question you. You're the author. That's what you meant. However, I will say this. What your defense of it was ridiculous because you said you were making a statement about fathers. It was a general statement about fathers.
That's
like,
the joke. comparing Trump to
But
your father.
you had not made any statement about fathers.
No, I didn't say it's a general statement about fathers.
You
It's
said-
a comedy book. The joke is that I'm saying Trump is my father. That's the joke. That's the joke is that the first thing I would say, Dick Masterson, while writing this book, Men Are Better Than Women, is that Donald Trump is my father.
Okay.
That's the joke. No one that
That's-
anyone respects like your father or Donald Trump, who implying that he's my father.
No, you said or Donald Trump.
Implying that he's my father, dickhead, that's what I just said.
Okay.
Nobody who anyone respects, like your father or Donald Trump, implying that Donald Trump is my father.
Oh, your father, comma, or Donald Trump
I
as
don't know,
my father?
ask Jeremy Rubenstrauss. He edited it.
Don't blame it on him. You're the fucking
He
writer,
edited it.
It's not his job to edit for the content. That's
For
your
understanding.
No, your
He
voice.
edits for understanding. That's
Your
the editor's
voice,
job.
your voice, and your content.
And he made it
your
as
voice.
concise as possible, easily understood by anyone who's not actively trying to make me look stupid and pleasing you. Hey, look, Maddox will love this. I didn't understand it. I'm like 5 people who didn't understand this joke, and I want to
No.
make him so happy. I'm going to give him this retarded interpretation of
No.
this passage. Maddox, I'm not going to check. I'm just going to shove it through because I also want it to be true so
Dick.
bad. Here you go,
Dick.
everybody. Here's a bunch of shit in your face.
It's
okay.
confusing
You
as
mean to
hell.
open
I
it?
read the phrase.
No, no.
I
It's
read
okay.
it, and it's not
Something
just me
spilled.
who's confused. Lots of people are confused, and your fans are feeding you a line of horseshit.
It's the
right
wrong
into
voice.
Excuse
I got
me.
the right
They're
voice.
I
feeding
know
you.
fans feeding me anything.
They're feeding you a line of horseshit right into your
What
ego.
fans are feeding me this?
Right into your ego.
What fans are feeding me this?
The people
I
who
didn't
are
say
defending
anybody
you.
was defending me.
Not
I didn't say anyone.
people who are defending
I
you.
said you're wrong. Ruby edited it, and he thought it was great. He got the joke. I got the
Dick.
joke. Everyone else got the joke in the comments who said you
No,
look
they
like a
didn't.
fucking
Those are your
dick when you
fans.
did it.
Those are your fans feeding your ego. Because that's not what everyone said, shithead, especially the people who emailed to me, obviously. And
private.
and back to Ruby editing. Look, it's the editor's job, but they're not going to catch everything. They're not going to catch everything that falls through the cracks. You said last episode.
I don't know why you use an
said
editor who
last
wasn't
episode.
competent.
You said last episode that you were comparing Trump. You changed your tune twice. You were saying stop interrupting. You were saying that Trump is someone who's respected, like fathers, someone that everyone in society respects. You didn't make that case in your book, not a single
What are
time.
you talking
And by
about
the way,
in my book? The joke is someone who everyone respects. I would think in a book called Men Are Better Than Women is the de facto understood that a father figure is respected.
why? You didn't mention anything about fathers in your entire book.
Because it's a joke. The book is full of jokes. The understanding is that the father is a linchpin of the family. Do I need to make that case? I'm not walking like, this is a man. A man has a penis. Let me prove it.
But-
Everyone knows, no one who anyone respects, like your father. No one who anyone respects, like your father, or Donald Trump. That's it.
I
No
don't
one who
know.
anyone respects, like your father, or
Yeah.
Donald Trump,
Yeah.
believes in
Dash
this
that horseshit.
believes in horseshit.
Yeah.
Easy to understand, so easy to understand,
Oh,
unless
very
you
easy to
so
understand.
badly want it to be true
No.
that you embarrass yourself in front of that many people. That's
the
what
prose
happened.
was not clear. You were not making
Extremely
it clear.
clear.
You were not making it clear that Trump was your dad. If you say that that's your intention and that's what you meant, I'm not gonna dispute you on it. That's
You're
what
trying
you
to
meant.
bisect it until you can get some weird way that you're right. But the
No, but
overall,
you didn't make. You changed your state. You changed your tune twice last episode. You
No.
said that Trump was like your dad, and you said Trump is your dad, and then you also
That's
said
the
that it was a
comparison.
statement. You were saying it was a statement about Trump, which is someone he respects like fathers.
Yeah.
You had not made a single statement about fathers up until that point in the book, because you know why? That was page 2 of your introduction, and then the rest of your book, the word father appears 7 times in a 272-page book. You made no statements about fathers. The word dad
What the
doesn't
fuck
appear.
are you
The
talking
word
about
papa doesn't appear.
fathers?
I'm talking. The word father
what are
doesn't
you
appear.
talking about, fathers?
Because
It
you
doesn't
said
matter.
you said last episode that Trump is someone you respect like fathers.
Like your
you
father.
said that fathers are a linchpin of blah 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 blah. You didn't make that clear in your book.
What the fuck are you talking about making it clear about respecting fathers? I say right in the beginning, no one that anyone respects, like your father. What am I saying? You respect your father.
Are
That's
you?
What do you mean, are I? That's what the sentence says. No one that anyone respects, like your father.
This
Of
is
course you
also
respect
good
your
because it
father.
gives
Do
me
you?
some time to work on.
You're
I mean,
asking
if
a
we
real question.
can-
No,
it doesn't have to be
you've
60.
been
Like, if we
so
have enough for
destroyed on this
40
argument,
or
you're
something,
turning
do
it
that
into
and
this
we
weird
label it.
dissection
So
of
wait,
like
label
language,
aren't
and you
as
search
important.
it.
Find out
you
how much
search
we
the
can do.
PDF
Let's
of my
do that.
book for mentions of
Yeah,
father.
because we-
That's your argument.
all the
Stated
stochastic
your
here.
point.
we
that
can't do
you
limits
meant
to
that
limits.
as
Then
a
you're
joke.
wrong.
Yeah.
Then
You
you were
meant it.
wrong thinking I was anti-Trump in that book.
Yeah.
That's what embarrasses you about
It's a
it.
confusing
And honestly,
passage.
we have
Only to you and,
And the dozens of
3 or
people
4 emailed
Yeah,
me.
the
Oh,
dozens of people who
okay.
emailed me.
Only you and the 50 people
Yeah.
emailed
How
you,
about
but they
this?
were so excited that they could make you happy with this retarded clip.
Yeah. How about this for clarity? Instead of just saying no one, who, anyone, no one is the scope is universal, and then anyone is also the scope is universal. So you're saying no one, who, anyone. Okay, so hold on. Let me think of all the people in the universe, and then of those, let me do the
Must take you a long time to read the book.
the intersection of no one versus anyone. Okay, we got two universal scopes. Okay, now I'm thinking of all the people of no one, right? No one who anyone respects, like your father. Okay, now I'm thinking of another person. Okay, or Donald Trump. Okay, or Donald Trump, which is Dick's father. I'm supposed to surmise from this passage that of no one who anyone respects, like your father, comma, or Donald
Nope,
Trump.
no comma. You
Oh,
forgot the
that's
dashes.
right.
You forgot the dashes.
There's-
If you're going line by line, you forgot the dashes. No one that anyone respects, dash dash, like your father. That's what
Okay.
they're there for.
Right, all right.
Offset.
Yep, here you
so,
go.
like your father or Donald Trump believes in that horseshit. Okay, very clear, crystal clear. How about this?
Yeah.
How about this? Anyone you respect like Donald Trump doesn't believe in this horseshit.
That's not funny.
Well, the joke wasn't funny to begin with.
Well, hey, I don't know.
I mean,
didn't sell as many of your books. I thought it was pretty funny.
Well,
What can I
I
say?
mean,
Take it up with Ruby.
Look, not
Take it up with Ruby.
every joke is going to be funny. Not every joke is going to land. But it was a confusing passage. And I think that people who were confused by it were understandably confused because it's a very wordy way of saying what you're trying to say.
And then-
I get it now. Hey, look, if you
I mean, I
if
should
that's
have
what you
written it
meant-
at a 5th grade level if that's what you wanted to read. I
Well,
wrote it perhaps a little more sophisticated.
You got to see when you did.
This is the problem. Now you understand why he talks like this, because he's got to communicate with people like you,
Yeah.
who can't understand a sentence with any kind of sophistication. Period. Said Mary ran up the hill. John ran up the hill. They both ran up the hill. Mary and John ran up the hill. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what's going on here. Did Mary run up a hill? Did John run up a hill? I have no idea.
Okay.
The
Well,
important thing, Dick, is that you tried.
Yeah, that is the important thing.
yeah. C grade. I give you a C.
Did I fucking die of an aneurysm and wind up in retard heaven? Fucking Maddox, dude, he's saying no one that anyone respects. Saying that the people that are respected, no one would believe that. Like,
Of the people
oh
who
my
respect it.
God,
Very cool,
dude, I
very
can't
clear.
fucking believe
Of the
this
people who
shit.
are
Like,
respected.
Dick,
Okay,
you
it's
are
a-
totally right.
That
I
statement.
love your book.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Wait,
no,
and
thanks.
fucking
Thank you.
Maddox,
Thank
the
you.
writer here, doesn't know the difference. Oh my God.
That's very frustrating.
It's always easy. And by the way, but
I gotta go.
Good.
Maddox, go fuck yourself.
yo, you go fuck yourself. I'll say this. I'll end it on this. The best jokes always need pages and minutes of explanation. Very good joke, Dick. Good joke.
Thank you.
Welcome to the biggest problem in the universe, the show where we discuss every problem in the universe, from Muammar Gaddafi to spilled coffee. With over 6 million downloads, this is the only show where you decide what should or shouldn't be on the big list of problems. I'm Maddox, with me is Dick.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
And Sean, our audio engineer.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Deleting with abandon today.
You guys are starting right in
this
on the
is
show.
Deleting security deposits, deleting Maddox's coffee all over the carpet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the coffee's still there if I get a sponge.
2 deletions, 1 stone.
All right, guys.
Sorry about the coffee, but it is funny.
Yeah, Sean,
Don't apologize. Makes you look weak. Fuck his coffee.
Sean goes-
And fuck his carpet.
Sean goes to get water, and he goes, "You want anything?" I'm thinking to myself, "Yeah, I would like a large iced Americano. That'd be really nice. That'd be really good." Yeah. But guys, moving on. The biggest problem in the universe from last week was the war on drugs.
Oh, that's good.
Hey, there you go. You get a ding and a clap for that, Dick. And then,
and dings and claps.
No, it's a good problem. And then ducking autocorrect, and then the Gollum effect. All came in. I would say the Gollum effect should come above ducking autocorrect. I think it was a little bit too high concept for people. They didn't quite understand it.
I mean, The Lord of the Rings was too high concept for people too.
That's true.
So, then
That's
you
true.
fucked up.
Yeah.
You should have dumbed it down.
Yeah. I should have just made it about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you should
And
have.
our dipshit, idiot, slow breathing, dullard fans would have eaten that up, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, that garbage movie.
No.
People still talk to me about that. They think that I'm a huge fan of the movie. People who
Guardians
don't-
of the Galaxy?
Yeah, people who
You're
don't
not.
listen. Yeah.
I thought you brought that in satirically.
No. I got
both think
comments.
it was satire.
Do they?
Yeah, that's why I went down so hard. What was your
We
comment?
need a satire tag. I got a comment from Marco Mergija. He says here. Yeah, there's not enough vowels in this name. There's way too many consonants. But he says, I've dropped acid in college at least twice a week. I'm fine. It was a shit ton of fun. Oh, I guess there you go, Marco. I guess Marco's fine, everyone. I guess there's no problem. And then someone commented, Edward says, but you're going to have flashbacks for the rest of your life and holes in your brain. Just ask Maddox, the man who has never done a drug in his life, but he read an article, so he knows what's up.
I don't even think you've read an article about drugs, though. I think all your drug knowledge comes from like Dare and from like the 30-second bumper at the end of a G.I. Joe cartoon.
Yeah.
Where Sergeant Slaughter comes out and goes, acid will put holes in your brain, kids, the more you know. That's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, that's because that's exactly what it is. I got all my knowledge about drugs from cartoons from the 80s, dickheads. I know one thing for sure, drugs are for turkeys.
Yeah. There was a lot of voicemail.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's hear these rambling dullards prattle on.
I mean, yeah, okay, I'll just
Look,
start into
just
it.
before we get into it.
Well, let these guys talk. Come on, you have an hour to say. Well, then let them say it.
Great.
Don't kill the punchline.
Alex, you fucking idiot.
Okay.
Where do you get your information on drugs? I
Told
told
you,
you fucking
cartoons.
dragnet in the 70s. LSD, particularly one hit of LSD, will never, ever fucking cause flashbacks. Maybe if you're fucking eating, I don't know, fucking sheets of it at a time. But no, one-time use of LSD will not cause fucking flashbacks.
Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how you're saying all this misinformation. On Bicycle Day, 4/19, the day that LSD was first synthesized by Dr. Albert Hofmann. Fucking incredible.
I
Dude,
knew it.
a second of research.
Piss
I'll
right on
find
the
a way
grave.
fucking possible.
I don't think that's the only grave you'll be pissing on.
Fucking
Yeah.
simple thing.
Okay.
You want to hear another one?
I'm not gonna believe that guy any more than I believe you, or less.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
look,
Why?
unless he comes with some published, peer-reviewed studies,
Yeah.
then like he could be going to, LSDtruth.org.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe this guy will convince you then, Sean.
Man, Maddox, when you talk about drugs, it's like listening to a creationist talk about evolution. It's
What do you
just
think of
fucking
that?
painful.
I like that analogy.
Like, what the fuck?
Well, actually.
Ayahuasca is not an opiate.
Oh,
Acid
this guy
is
wants.
not
Well,
put
actually.
holes in your brain, and like having an acid flashback. It sounds like you think having an acid flashback is just like you instantly think you're on fire. You hop out a window out of a 30-story building, splatter all over the fucking ground. That's not
You
the
don't think
case,
that.
man.
I know. Or do you?
If you tried acid more,
We
that's
don't know,
gigantic
apparently, maybe I should be
and
thinking
just
anyways,
like
right,
one
right,
little
right.
dose, just like one little tap of acid, you would know what the fuck we're talking about.
No. Actually.
But
Paradox.
it's
All right, you paused for too long.
Yeah.
Your response, I mean, it's full of.
I know,
You want to
I
hear the first
know.
5 seconds of a couple in a row? I want to listen to the whole
Let's hear it.
thing.
Yeah, the fuck you, Maddox.
Holy fuck, man. If you don't know anything about the subject, just abstain. Like, if you're gonna try to argue about how drugs hurt you, LSD, is that what you're gonna go with? LSD. You get
Yeah,
heroin, you
he's
get
got a point,
cocaine, you
you know.
get meth,
He's got
and you
points
know
there, don't you
what's possibly the most harmless drug
Okay.
on the
Yeah,
market?
yeah,
This is
yeah.
more than
All
5
right,
seconds.
all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you did pick LSD over
You did pick
cocaine,
the weakest one.
meth, heroin.
Look, man, the point that I was trying to make, and you could replace whatever drug that you want to make this point true, because it's still true, regardless if I misspoke about the drug. The point is that some drugs are very dangerous and bad for you.
Like
Is that
alcohol.
disputed? Like meth.
Well,
I'm talking about illegal.
alcohol-
I'm talking about illegal drugs,
like the
like meth, like heroin,
Okay.
right? Like heavy, hard drugs. They're bad for you.
They're not good for you.
They're not good for you.
Very few old addicts.
They're
Right, that's the
harmful.
point. Now, to the point about LSD chewing holes in your brain or whatever, I looked into it and it sounds like it may be an urban legend.
Definitely.
There are pictures on the internet of brains with holes chewed in them, but they may be due to other complications of things. The people who are doing
Wait,
drugs.
can I ask, by a hole, do you mean a physical hole?
Yes.
Like a brain that has like a Swiss cheese, like
Yeah.
Quantum Leap. There's a physical void in the brain.
They are missing a certain type of matter in that brain. You can see it on a CAT scan.
Oh,
On an
CAT
MRI.
scan. Okay, that's what I thought. Because those CAT scan tests are to show you the sections of the brain that don't have blood in them when you're high.
Right.
Like if you're thinking logically, different parts of your, like if you're responding to religious iconography, different parts of your brain light up. If you're responding to like logical arguments, different parts of your brain light up.
Yeah, it wasn't
You're
that. It
looking
wasn't
at
that.
a baby.
I believe then maybe it was an MRI because it was an old black and
You looking
white
for
photo.
it?
You could see
How do I left my
clear dark
glasses
areas
down
where there was
here?
no matter.
I can use the crappy ones.
But I looked into it, and it turns out I think that the people who had that affliction or whatever may have been combining lots of different drugs, may have been an anomaly, may have been a lot of different things. As for the point about the LSD,
They were playing a lot of laser tag. Laser beam shovels in their brain. That's what I heard.
That does complicate it because a lot of people
Yeah.
use multiple drugs recreationally. So
Right.
it's- They also, for a long time, they were trying to study the cancer effects of smoking pot.
Yeah, yeah.
Carcinogens.
Right.
A lot of them smoke cigarettes too, so it skews the
So,
potential
the
results.
point is
so
the
on
drugs
to
are
the
bad.
point. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
some drugs are definitely bad, and they're not. We don't know the full impacts of them. We don't know how to test for them, that sort of thing. If it's in their systems. But to the point of LSD, you can have flashbacks even by using it once. But it is.
I think you're
It
really
is.
mad.
I linked to the source on the website, so check the source. It is exceedingly rare that can happen. But there are people who die from LSD. There have been complications due to synthetic LSD. There are people who've gone into comas because of LSD. These aren't, and again, these aren't common, but it has happened. It's documented. I linked to it.
Okay, I'm not gonna disagree with any of that for the sake of time, because I brought in this interesting graph that I want you to look at.
Okay.
Someone, I forget where it was. I think someone in the comments said, because I said nothing's more dangerous than alcohol. Like that was my overall point was there's a big war on drugs, but alcohol is legal and it's the worst one.
Alcohol and cigarettes are terrible.
It's absolutely
They're
terrible. They're
the
both
worst.
legal because everyone loves them and everyone understands them. Like you understand what alcohol and cigarettes do to you, but people don't understand what the other drugs do because they don't do them, right? Because they don't want to do them.
No, but alcohol also has a use outside of just recreationally getting fucked up.
Getting chicks fucked up. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I was talking
Cleaning
about.
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, cooking, cleaning, there's antiseptic, no, what's antibacterial properties of alcohol, lots of reasons, lots of legitimate uses for
What
alcohol.
about tobacco?
I don't know any.
Probably not.
No.
And then can you sterilize shit by blowing a menthol on it? I don't think so. Right? Okay. Anyway, someone has done stuff
Yeah.
about the harmful. Because everyone look at this like, well, crack's way worse than alcohol.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. Here is a graph. I'm going to post it. I don't know the background of stuff. You just, take a study and look at it. You don't agree with it, whatever, get rid of it. These are all the drugs linked by their harmfulness with the user and the people around them. Alcohol towers over the other one.
I believe that.
I mean, this doesn't.
Because they tend to use it over a longer period of time. Like crack can take you down quick. Meth can take you down really quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought
it's
the
just-
graph was interesting and statistical. In my argument about rights and whatever, I probably overlooked this very interesting graph. It shows alcohol is way more harmful than the other.
It doesn't have a source here, though. What's the source?
Oh, I chopped that out of the report. It's a big report.
Okay.
I don't want to bring in the PDF
Well,
and scroll
so-
through. It's very interesting, though.
So number one, according to harm it causes to users and harm it causes to others.
Right.
Alcohol, it causes the most harm to others, believe it or not. About 2/3 of the harm it causes is to others as opposed to the user. And I think it is the only drug on this list like that. The next closest is heroin, but heroin causes about almost 50/50 harm to users and harm to others. And way off the chart is methamphetamine, which causes the most harm to users and causes the most harm to others. Yeah. And then mushroom causes all harm to users, but really low.
Very well. Let's look at LSD here.
But you know, to the point of like people saying
Hey, Ross, you may use that neurons to, you can comment.
Like, I've never had a broken arm, but I can comment on broken arm. I've never had
There's certain things you have to experience, I think, to talk about them. That's probably not one of them. If there's enough studies, peer-reviewed, refutable, all that kind of stuff.
What happens to film talking? Do you have to do that in order to comment on it? 'Cause I haven't done that. I have no idea what that goes on my
It
talking.
helps because you don't understand the inner turmoil that causes unless you've actually done
Oh,
it.
man.
Now, that would cause inner turmoil, except it was too dramatic, so I really feel good about it.
No, you don't. You
Fuck
feel
you,
like
Sean.
a dick. You're a dick.
Yeah, what a big old dickhead.
Anyway.
I got a comment here from Leo Lombardozzi. Now, I want to say two things here. I want to comment. I'll mention his
He
comment
gets
here.
interrupted before his comment. Let's hear it.
I want to comment about what he said here, and I also want to comment on the whole drug war problem. So I thought it was fascinating. I did more research after the episode. But Leo says black people are statistically less likely to do drugs and are more likely to be arrested for doing drugs. And then he says arrested for doing drugs or arrested for dealing drugs. Now that's a point I feel like
both.
Yeah, both. Of course,
Yeah.
of course, both. But turns out that white people are still arrested more. They're more. They make up a higher percentage of dealers than black people. White people.
Sure.
By straight
Well, by
numbers,
straight numbers.
But
yeah.
here's the percentages.
So I forgot to fill this hole before I sanded.
Blacks 45%.
So I'm gonna try to
5.5%.
do it
But
without
blacks
having to cut it.
are representing only 15% of the population
See how we do.
that is overrepresented in the percentage of drug dealers. And again, the reason there could be that they are arrested, they're incarcerated 10 times at a 10 times higher rate than whites. But then on to the point about the war on drugs, Dick. I think that we kind of glossed over this, but without doing real justice to this. But the drug epidemic, the war on drugs, really it was kicked off with Nixon and went into high gear with Reagan. Reagan passed the Drug Abuse Act, right? And this Drug Abuse Act, I had no idea was so nefarious because what it did is it created a crime, created a penalty for having crack cocaine as opposed to the more pure form?
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
No, it's not more pure. It's just in different forms. Powder.
Powder. Okay.
Crack is solid. Cocaine is powder.
Right. And who's more likely to do crack?
Well, I mean, I know you can make this a race thing. Like, obviously, black people
It's not
have
just
crack
race.
more.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also crack is more affordable.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, go ahead.
I mean, that's
Keep
what
going.
that's what the Nixon aid essentially said the war on drugs was
basically motivated.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that could be an addition to that because crack is lower income drug, and then cocaine is the higher income version of that. And the penalty for cocaine is much smaller. For 500 grams of cocaine, is the penalty is the same for even having I think 5 grams of crack.
Look, I get rid of all the penalties is my motto. You know this.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, Mike. It's true, but it's also a hell of a lot easier. Like, I don't think it's like that.
Wait, why is that?
It's solid. Like you relax, you go here. What am I gonna carry a bag of flour home and find enough cocaine? It's not as easy. It's very easy to separate crack.
I found a dime bag of cocaine in my neighborhood. No joke.
How do you know?
I didn't know. I was with a friend who pointed it
Because
out.
I carry my flour around in dime bags all the time.
Oh, do you?
This is strict cops, so they look stupid. When I get arrested, they'll test it. I know this is motherfucker, it's flour.
All right, let's go, Masterson. Out of that slammer. Put your pants back
Can
on.
we move on to something?
Let's move on.
A lot of people took offense to some inaccuracies you had last week regarding your Pokemon.
What the?
Here.
Fucking nerd.
And I'm calling to let you know that Geodude evolves into Graveler.
I know
and
he is.
Graveler evolves into Golem.
No shit, you fucking mark. It's the final form, shithead.
Point is that you're a tremendous fucking Poke casual.
Fucking casual.
He's mad because he missed the intermediary.
Yeah, I skipped a step because it's a fucking podcast, shithead. It's a radio program where not everyone knows what the fuck Pokemon is. It's a throwaway joke that was a sentence, you fucking nerd. You ruin everything.
You gotta show your work, man. Common Core jokes on this show. You gotta show how you got there.
Alright, did I get anything else?
Graveler, leaving Graveler out now.
Alright, let's move on, guys. This is the problem I
Did I
brought in.
mention that my man took offense to your LSD thing too?
Oh,
that like
sure.
the 10 minutes after the episode launched, I get a text from my man saying, "What the fuck? You're sending me all this info on LSD? I haven't heard from this guy for
You know,
I know you haven't mentioned your man in like 40 episodes.
No, I don't want to say it. I'm just saying. I mean, boom, that's what he cares about.
Look, but the argument that it hasn't happened to me is idiotic.
What do you mean?
Like, hey, like I've taken
Yeah.
acid, like nothing's ever happened to me. That's
Of course.
a stupid argument.
Yeah, it's a gambler's fallacy. I drove down the street without a seatbelt. I didn't get in a wreck. Good job, shithead. You lucked out, I guess.
Fuck, I had a neurotic story when we spent so much time talking about LSD. I'll tell you next week.
We're still pretty early. You want to
Go ahead.
Look, guys, you know those obnoxious dudes who, all throughout high school, I had these friends who were huge stoners, and they'd always pull you aside, like, you know, tell me the real talk about you know, they're stoner proselytizers, they're stoner preachers, they're marijuana preachers, and they're always telling me, hey, man, actually it's not true. You know, the Reefer Madness documentary is a big propaganda piece, and blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing, I get it, I believe you, just go away. I don't care. I just don't care. And because I shit on so many drugs and so many different groups, now I'm hearing from all of them.
Yeah, that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
That's what you get, man.
This is the hell I've created.
I mean, what else do they have to do all day?
Nothing apparently
No,
except
no.
call this fucking podcast and leave comments. Shitty comments. Guys, this was the problem I brought in last week. We didn't have time for it, but my biggest problem in the universe this week is helicopter parents. Yeah, helicopter parents.
I wish you had that coffee back so I could spit all of it out of your mouth right now. You're criticizing parents?
Yeah, why not?
Because one of your problems was people with no kids criticizing parents.
No child parenting advice. That was the problem.
Let's hear it.
I'm not giving parenting advice.
Okay.
These are other parents who've given parenting advice. Look, let's define the terms here. First of all, a helicopter parent was first used in Dr. Haim Ginot's 1969 book, Parents and Teenagers by Teens Who Said Their Parents. Man, the sentence is really so. I know it's wow. Anyway, it's basically parents who hover around them like helicopters. The term became popular enough to become a dictionary entry in 21. They're basically parents who hover around you all the time. Now, what could possibly be the harm in that?
Well, the kid never experiences anything for themselves. They're like kept safe, right?
John, fucking right on the nose. That's exactly what it is. Reason parents become helicopter parents is because a lot of times they're just afraid. They have fear of dire consequences. These are the reasons according to parents.com. They have fear of dire consequences, low grades, not making the team, not getting a job their parents want their children to get. When you think about that, your parents are basically projecting their fears onto you. They want you to be exactly what they expect you to be, and that's why they hover around you and micromanage everything in your life.
Okay, so let me you need some kind of emotional connection. Like that's not the whole story. Projecting your fears onto the kid.
Yeah.
You got these little I have two nephews. One, a little one, who started walking around, so now he's a third.
So you guys know what?
Yeah. He's a year old. So, don't worry about it. I don't expect those kinds of things.
It's fucking hard.
No. So, now that he's walking around, he's joining his older brother in being a little kid. There's a lot more to it than projecting fears onto them, I think. And what I'm trying to...
Well,
They're not doing it intentionally.
I'm not done with this list. There are other reasons that people become helicopter parents. Feelings of anxiety, worries about the economy, job market, relationship prospects, even projected onto the child. And these are my words from parents.com. Overcompensation. Adults who felt unloved or neglected as a child start to overcompensate with their own children, and it sometimes creeps into adulthood. Helicopter parents think that because they pay the bills, they're entitled to know what's going on at all times with their adult children as well. And, you know, it goes on. There's an example from psychology. But what do you say about that? Those are the three main reasons that parents.com is that parents become helicopters.
I think it's a really broken thing. Like, I guess it makes me wonder what is a helicopter, you know? I guess that's, those are all bad things. Would you say?
Well, there are people who are way too over-involved, overprotective, over nosy in their children's lives.
And they also miss a child.
It's hard to say where to stop.
Do you have any experience with kids?
What?
Tobacco dreams, like at any age?
What do you mean? I've never had kids, you know.
Do you put you already around them at all?
I've been around kids, yeah.
Like, kids that you care about.
Yeah.
Kids that are important.
Yeah, there's been kids that I've heard about.
Okay, I think that this is all of it.
Yeah,
I think so
that's
too.
it.
I would say that this isn't a problem. What do you know?
I feel like you're about to tell me something that's going to make me think you're a whole.
Oh no, I can just easily understand how the frog boils slowly, right? Like you have to watch over them so carefully that like letting them go in stages, like imagine like a shooting arrow or a the bullseye is like that's where you start with them, covering over them all the time. They grow up like it's making the perpetrator, giving them more room to go fuck up on their own. I imagine it's very difficult. Like it's very difficult for me as an uncle to do that. Like when I see the kids fucking around and doing something maybe a little dangerous, kind of being assholes, I'm like, man, every instinct in me is wanting to get up to correct this behavior, but we're gonna just let the first moment of parents, so it's none of my business. But that's not true all the time. But it's also very difficult to let them go out and fuck up on their own. Now, I'm sure you're talking about extreme cases on the article, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I haven't been around kids.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been around kids, but I think that fundamentally, I believe in the philosophy that I was raised in, which is let them fuck up and hurt themselves sometimes.
Look how well neutral you are.
Yeah. I guess it's very simplistic to say let them fuck up. So, like, let me give you an example. We've got, let's say SmackDown, and they're playing with their cousins, their friends, and you notice that your kid's being too aggressive and not sure, right? Like, deciding when you intervene on that is not answered by your let them hurt themselves.
No, but that's not an example of where helicopter parenting is done.
Oh, but it is. Because you could get in there every time you perceive them being selfish or maybe shoving too much. You could swoop in there and grab them and reprimand them. Like you can control everything that they do. But I don't think that's good. I think that's what you're bringing in. That's not good.
Well, here's what it says. According to Psychology Today, it says that costs are so great because this is again talking about parents who feel like they own their children because they pay the bills. Costs are so great that schooling is an investment. They're adult children now. Schooling is an investment, and as if some magical amount of money trips a switch in their brain that says it's okay for them to rob their kids of any degree of self-sufficiency. The researchers find the inappropriate, anxiety-driven parenting tactics not only compromise the child's autonomy, mastery, and personal growth, they often reflect a critical attitude by parents who praise their children when they do well but withdraw affection subtly or overtly when they don't bring home that A. It's known in the psych biz as parental conditional withdrawal. So if you don't fulfill their expectations they have for you, they will withdraw their affection. That's incredibly psychological damaging. There's an article on KSL.com. It talks about how bad helicopter parenting can be. It says here that award-winning journalist and author David Kushner wrote a book about it. Kushner's own theory is that things start to change after what he called the perfect storm for fostering the spirit, where helicopter parenting came from. Because it wasn't a phenomenon until the mid to late 80s, and it's been a problem ever since. It says, first 6-year-old Ethan Katz disappeared in 1979 while walking to school in New York City's Soho district. I think because it was such a mystery and because it was so captivating that it really penetrated the world of the media, which was in New York, said Kushner. It became a drama, and not to be crass, but it sold newspapers. So this story, I guess from 1979 of a kid being kidnapped, I guess was the O.J. Simpson story at the time, and all these parents started worrying about it, and, I mean, statistically speaking, if your kid gets lost and runs into a stranger on the street, they're probably going to be okay. The crime rate across the board is something like 0.3 per capita, 0.4 per capita. It's ridiculously low.
Most kids are abducted by someone they know. I believe.
That doesn't make the fear less, Sean.
No, it doesn't, but
It doesn't
same thing
help.
with the media, like you're talking about. Every parent out there thinks that there's a very likely likelihood that their kid may get abducted if they're playing in the front yard.
Yeah, and I shared the philosophy of, I think Louis C.K. said this, but your kid's just not that attractive. Like, most kids just aren't that attractive. They're not hot enough to molest. Your kid is fucking ugly. But no, but here's the thing.
I really disagree with the way this conversation is going. I really
You think
strongly
you're hot
disagree
enough?
with it. So, children are in danger, in my opinion. Like, so many kids are abused and molested.
No,
So
they're not.
many.
No, it's a minority.
Oh my
it's,
God.
it's a very, very small minority.
But again, you think a small minority is 2%.
Yeah.
That's an incredible amount of abuse. That's
by
true.
definition, that's a minority.
No shit, it's a
Yeah.
minority, but it's not a scoffable minority. Like
No.
it's a mathematical minority only. It's not a moral minority.
Well, no
That's
one's
an
saying that.
You are by trivializing it.
No. I'm not saying. Look, I think it's trivializing. First of all, it's causing more damage than good by fear-mongering the statistic that 2% or 1% or whatever. I'm just saying all across the board. I'm saying all across the board per capita. Per capita means one for the number of people per 100,000, right? So per capita, the likelihood of you experiencing a crime when you go out into the world in the United States, on average, is like less than 1.
When you say experience a crime,
Yeah,
I mean,
that means assault, that means rape, that means murder, that means burglary, like any kind of crime, it's less than 1.
the amount of reported crimes against children is so astronomically low. Like,
Yeah, sure. Like, I don't care if it's like 1,000,000 to 1 if you're the one.
Guys, of course, look, child molestation and child abuse is one of the most
Way
heinous
higher
crimes.
than a million.
Oh no, I know the odds are higher than that.
Well, look, it's one of the most heinous crimes. I don't think it's so prevalent that you have to worry about your child wandering into the street or going over to a neighbor's house. You know what?
You should absolutely worry about that.
Absolutely not.
I just have a hard time even taking that seriously from someone who has no kids or kids that they've ever had to protect.
You've never had any kids, and you've never had to protect any
I'm
kids.
constantly around my nephews.
That's not your kid.
No shit, Maddox.
But you still have those kind of parental instincts.
No, you want to protect them.
Yes.
That's part of your tribe. It's very easy for children to get taken advantage of. Like, writing it off as this mathematical unlikelihood,
Yeah.
to me, is okay. It's parents are fear-mongering, whatever. Like, way too many kids get abused, in my opinion. Looking out for them is not helicopter parenting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you are constantly worried about your kid going over to a neighbor's house and then coming home molested, look, it's just unlikely to occur.
It can make parents take it to the extreme. It
Yeah.
can make that kid really fearful.
And there we go, Sean. There's the rub.
They should
Because here's what happens. Here are the consequences
You
of
ever
helicopter
heard
parenting.
the song Mother by Pink Floyd? It's basically a helicopter parenting.
No.
Well, what are the consequences?
Here are the consequences from Parents.com. It says your kids get a sense of entitlement. That right there, to me, is one of the worst fates of anyone having a fucking
Except
sense of
getting
entitlement.
molested.
Well, yeah, one of the
Yeah.
worst. Children who have always had their social, academic, and athletic lives adjusted by their parents to best fit their needs can become accustomed to always having their way, and thus they develop a sense of entitlement. They become entitled shitheads.
It's kind of like the center of the universe.
Broken fucking people. Undeveloped life skills. More consequences of helicopter parenting. Parents who always tie shoes, clear plates, pack lunches, launder clothes, and monitor school progress, even after their children are mentally and physically capable of doing the task, prevent their children from mastering these skills themselves. Decreased self-confidence and self-esteem. The main problem with helicopter parenting is that it backfires, says Dr. Ann Dunelwood, a licensed psychologist. She says the underlying message is that the parent's over-involvement sends to kids, however, is that my parent doesn't trust me to do this on my own. And this leads to a lack of confidence. So they're insecure, they lack confidence, they have underdeveloped life skills, they have a sense of entitlement, and it goes on. They get underdeveloped coping skills. If the parent is always there to clean up after the child's mess or prevent the problem in the first place, how does the child ever learn to cope with loss, disappointment, or failure? Studies have found that helicopter parenting can make children feel less confident in dealing with the stresses of life on their own. and then it increases anxiety in the child. The list goes on and on. A study from the University of Mary Washington has shown that overparenting is associated with higher levels of child anxiety and depression. I mean, you are fucking up the kid's life. Yeah, you know what? There's a 1 in a 100,000 chance, maybe less than that, 1/2 in 100,000 chance, maybe 200,000 chance that your child could get molested by wandering over your neighbor's house. That's an awful fucking.
What if it's 1 in 100?
Well, what if it's 1 in 10? I mean, I don't know. You're just throwing out random numbers out there.
So,
It's
yeah.
1 in 100,000. No, those are the odds.
The odds that your kid gets molested is 1 in 100,000.
It's really rare.
Is it 1 in 100,000 or is it really rare?
All times across the board. Look, pedophilia itself would be in the millions.
Didn't we say it was 2% or 3% or something like
No,
that?
I mean I know you said that, but I don't know where you pulled that number from.
Oh no, well, that's
No, it's not.
okay. Alright, so what were you gonna say?
The point is that helicopter parenting, the consequences of it are really dire. They're really extreme. When you stifle your kid's choice, his freedom, his or her freedom of expression, they become entitled, they become anxious, they get depressed, they become less self-reliant, they become basically broken human beings. Is that what you want? I mean, what's the alternative here? Yeah, you know what? Abuse against children is awful and heinous. It's one of the worst things that could ever happen, and you can absolutely prevent it. But not at the expense of ruining their lives.
Look, that is helicopter parenting. I can go through a whole list of things that you see. Don't do their laundry. Don't do their laundry is going to make them not prepared for life. Doubt that. I bet a lot of people who've had their laundry done that aren't all fucked up. Like this helicopter parenting just seems like a buzzword to get people outraged about how entitled everybody. Yeah, I get it. Everyone's entitled. I hate it too. Everybody wants their safe space. Everybody wants everything the way they do it. It's like a poison in America. But I don't know. I don't know that we're in a culture where these kinds of articles and buzzwords like affluenza have to be cranked out constantly. I don't know that there's this helicopter parenting phenomenon that's ruining an entire generation. It seems like some people just are a little smothering with their kids.
Well, you're playing semantic games. What are you going to say, John?
I mean, I've seen what I would consider to be overparenting, where it's like, you are really hovering over that kid, but you have to define what really constitutes overparenting.
Yeah.
It's such a wide,
it could be
swatch of
anything.
gray.
No, but I'll tell you what. Helicopter parenting has another consequence. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is just from Parents.com, but I heard another.
Where's the line drawn?
Well, I'll
what
tell you.
becomes helicopter?
Doing your laundry, apparently.
Well, no, overdoing their laundry. Like if you do their laundry sometimes, or until they're self-sufficient. But there are people who do laundry forever. Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
I told you what's wrong with that. It makes them entitled. It makes them not independent. It makes them not confident. It ruins their self-esteem. It underdevelops coping skills.
Laundry?
It increases anxiety. All these things that you do for your kids, you just see them wiping their asses. They'll never fucking learn on their own.
Now I think you're already doing laundry with your kids. I don't think getting
Oh,
failed and not learning how to do laundry.
Mama Masterson said it's okay to do your laundry for your kids. No time parenting advice. Go vote it up.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
What else?
Look, I heard on this other program they're talking about this phenomenon of helicopter parenting. And by the way, this isn't even popular right now. This was really popular in the late 90s. This isn't something that's new. They talked about this phenomenon where we have an outrageous amount of people who have anxiety when it comes to food, and we have weird allergies that never existed before. Right? And some scientists started looking at this and saying, well, where the fuck is this coming from? What has happened? What is the cultural shift that has happened where suddenly, a decade or two ago, we weren't experiencing this tidal wave of people with allergies? Well, I want to hear your theory, Sean. What?
It's because they're not allowed to develop immune systems when they're young.
Bingo. And it's specifically because of helicopter parenting. They are too afraid that their child might have allergies to shellfish or peanuts or whatever, so they'll abstain from it because you're not supposed to eat honey when you're breastfeeding. You're not supposed to eat seafood when you're breastfeeding. You're not supposed to give your kids peanuts up until a certain age because, God forbid, they have some weird allergy or whatever. But what they found is that by not exposing your kids to these allergens, they're developing very more severe allergies. They don't let them outside. They don't let them outside. They don't let them go out and play in the yard. You want to see overparenting tips? Go drive down. There's a neighborhood in Los Angeles where it's just a bunch of families who have these trampolines set up, and I have never seen anything more pathetic than these
Mormons?
trampolines.
They have nets around them, don't they?
They have nets around them.
worst,
Yeah,
man.
they have nets around. Not only do they have nets around them, Sean, the legs have padding on them.
Man, I fell off a trampoline into a fucking pine tree and I snapped the top third of the pine tree off when I was a kid.
I was complaining about the nets around trampolines recently with this girl, and she's like, "Well, why do you not like them?" Oh man, when I was a kid, the parents would go inside and we would jump off of them, see how high we could jump, and fuck up our collarbones and our necks. It was
Right,
awesome. I'm
right.
like, wait a minute. There's no reason to be against those nets that isn't because of danger. Damn it. And spending those through.
Yeah, man, you're not letting kids experience life anymore. There's another teacher who, actually this administrator for a private school, who came out with this article a while back who said that he had a strict rule on his playground, which is if kids get hurt, they can't come crying to the teachers. And he just let them duke it out, he let them figure it out, and he found that over time the kids became more confident, more self-reliant, they started, they bullied each other less, they figured it out, they just were allowed to be kids and go out there and fucking live their lives and scrape their knees every now and then. They didn't have fucking mama sitting there with baby wipes every time they fell down and had a boo-boo.
Yeah.
The world is full of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so anyway, they found that, Sean, yeah, by not exposing these kids to these allergens, that we are getting way more severe allergies than we've never seen before in our lives. And now studies have come out, they said that even people who have peanut allergies, even people who have allergies to shellfish and these things that people normally have allergies to, if you expose it to them little by little, over time, during their upbringing, they won't have as severe reactions or be any reaction at all.
Well, if that's not true, I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Not from these drug lords. Anyways, Zach, what do you
I know
got?
you're big on honey and like it stops allergies. I don't know if we ever settled that.
Well, I looked into that as well, and it turns out regular honey probably does not. It's inconclusive. I've seen
You
some
gotta go to
studies.
Whole Foods.
No, I've seen some studies that say it does. I've seen some studies that say it doesn't. The one honey that people say is promising is this honey that comes from the Netherlands or New Zealand called Manuka honey. I did look into that, and there are some studies that do back that up as some kind of therapeutic effect. I don't know what it is.
So what age would you talk to your kids about sex? Not be a helicopter parent. Are you gonna give them unfettered access to the internet?
I think I may. Look, I don't know much about kids and parenting, but I do know this. I look at parents who are successful in their life, and I look and see what they're doing with their kids, and I would try to emulate them.
I look at the kids.
Well,
To
yeah,
figure out
well-
whether the parents did a good
Well,
job.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll give you a perfect example. One of my brothers had a
this is part of a Harry Potter themed brush set. He already has 2 of them, so I'm doing the last 2 today.
You. How about that? How about that? Real fucking human beings. They're fantastic kids. Whatever they're doing, whatever mojo they're doing works. They are disciplined. They are responsible. They're hardworking. You know, I look to see. I look to one. I believe is I think 10 and 12.
I gotta wait a couple decades to see how the result is.
Well, I mean, you did your nephew's and bee's knees. How old's he?
Oh, this wasn't like a my dog is better than your dog.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying, you know, as an experiment.
Well, just even comparing similarly aged adolescents for behavior and discipline and responsibility, just looking at that already miles away.
So do they do his laundry? I would assume no.
I don't know.
Do they knit their own clothes?
Yeah, they gotta be self-sufficient.
No, Sean.
You can't buy them their clothes.
They don't live on a farm, fuckface. Right, what do you got?
They have to make their own school lunch?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I've also seen it the other way, where parents are way too strict in weird authoritarian ways that are not like helicopter parents. They're just real dickheads and blowhards about it, and that causes their kids to have huge privacy issues. They have huge issues with privacy and anxiety and control. And for girls, it can develop into eating disorders. For guys, it can develop into drug abuse. Anyway, what do you got?
Yeah. I think you're like helicopter parenting. Is that when a parent marches into a teacher's, writes into a college professor's email and says, "My daughter deserves an A on this political science paper." Means nothing.
That's really annoying. I am so glad. I'm so glad you
I'm
mentioned
trying to think
that.
of what it actually is.
Well,
I'll
okay.
list. I'll give you known as like a bunch of crap. Like do your laundry and make
You keep talking about laundry. That's the only thing you mentioned on this. It says they tie their shoes. It says tie their shoes. Yeah, but you're only picking one out of this
Why did
entire
they put
list.
it in there if it's stupid? That's their
You're
article.
cherry picking. It says here, tie your shoes, clear their plates, pack their lunches, launder their clothes, and monitor their school progress, even after the children are mentally and physically capable of doing the task. Is that not clear? After they're capable of doing their task themselves, they're still doing it. That's the helicopter parenting. Tying their shoes?
See, that's weird.
Why is that weird? What are you getting here?
Job specialization is pretty useful for efficiency. I mean, what's wrong with doing your laundry? Tying your shoes?
Stop mentioning laundry. I listed a whole fucking list. Tying their shoes,
Clearing the plates?
after they're capable of doing so themselves. You think there's no problem with that?
What, everybody clears their own plate?
Oh, here, Dick. What's your next problem? Here, let me do that
How
for you,
old were
baby.
you? How old were you when you lived in your parents' basement? Were you yelling for soup and correspondence?
Yeah, was that helicopter parenting?
You guys, it was a joke. It was a throwaway line. My
No,
God.
that wasn't a joke. You meant that seriously. You definitely banged on the door on the ceiling and asked for soup.
My
wasn't
mom,
a joke. I mean, the joke was funny.
my mom would occasionally bring me soup downstairs, but
Is that helicopter parenting?
hold on, and I would occasionally bang on the ceiling with the broom.
Yeah.
But those two incidents usually happen distinctly from another. So I would bang on it for something unrelated,
Well, like what?
like pick up the phone. This was before cell phones. This was when we
No, I
when we all had
understand.
landlines.
I don't think you wanted her to come down to you and pick up your phone and
No.
put it up to your ear.
No, but this was like when I lived at home and we had a landline. I would take the broom sometimes if I wanted my mom to pick up. I would bang on the fucking ceiling. And yeah, sometimes my mom would bring me soup. But here's the thing, man. I'll tell you, my mom did my laundry for way too long, and to the point where when I finally moved out of the apartment, when I finally moved out on my own, I didn't know how to do fucking laundry on my own. I had to learn.
Hard to learn?
No, it wasn't hard to learn, but it was a skill, a life skill that I didn't possess.
Dick, do you remember when a mutual friend of ours?
Oh, this is a great story.
He duked on his pants. This was how old were you?
16. 15 or 16.
Something like that, at least.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you tell.
So, this friend of ours, parents were gone.
Yeah.
So we were all over at his house. So no one had beer. We were drinking, and this friend of ours, whose mom definitely had done his laundry his entire life.
Right.
And mine does too. It's great. She still wants to do it. I don't want to do it though. I don't want to wash the clothes and shirts. Anyway, this guy.
Think how independent you are.
Yeah, I taught myself. After she stopped, my girlfriend started doing it, and then she spilled a bunch of bleach on my shorts. It's like, all right, I'll do this from now on. Thank you very much.
Could be worse, could be coffee.
Yeah, exactly. I just read the bottle. It wasn't like a life skill, and my self-esteem wasn't affected by it. Anyway, this friend of ours threw up all over himself because he had like he must have had 3 or 4 beers. And at that age, you know, that's a lot of beer. He threw up on himself, and he started panicking because he needed to come up with a story why he fell in the pool to explain why his clothes were all wet. And Sean just said, well, why don't you just wash them? He goes, well, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
My mom washes all my clothes.
Yeah.
You could see the gears kind of slowly crank in his head. Like it was just never thought of.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wash your fucking pants.
Yeah, man. My mom always did my laundry, and I didn't learn how to do it until I moved out. And there were lessons that you had to learn. Like, there's, generally speaking, there aren't. It doesn't say. I don't know. There are things that you have to learn about doing laundry. Like, for example, using a laundry bag for small articles so they don't get stuck in the drain. That's something I kind of had to learn the hard way. I mean, these are things in life skills.
I don't know that one.
There you go. Use a laundry bag. So if you have a lot of panties that you're washing, you know.
I don't do that. I like to smell on it.
Gross.
Isn't that being used again, obviously? It's the wrong place.
It's like lettuce and mustard.
What is this bag that you have to use?
A laundry bag. You never heard of it?
I've heard of it. I just don't know what it has to do with small things falling down the drain.
Dick, it's so funny. You, Mr. Laundry Expert, you've never heard of a laundry bag.
I've heard of a laundry
You don't
bag.
use it. That's what
I don't use
they're
a
for.
laundry bag, no.
Yeah, that's what they're for. So you don't have small things like
The
small
oven?
socks,
Just
panties,
beeping, like it's
any
preheated
small
or if
article
you
of
have a
clothing
timer
that
going.
you wash. You put it in a laundry bag so it doesn't get sucked down the drain and cause a clog.
What drain?
The laundry drain in the washing machine.
I've never had a washing machine where that was possible.
Me either.
Well, it's happened to me.
Because even change stays in the bottom.
Yeah, even
of the
shoes
wash.
stays in the bottom.
Well, change is heavy. I'm talking about something that's kind of like, some of the hair bands you use, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're always
Panties,
in
that sort
there.
of- Well, I don't know, man. These exist for a reason, and that's what they're there for. That's what happened. I was in an apartment one time that I was renting, and I put a bunch of clothes in, and this was a front-loading washer, so maybe that had something to do with it. But it was a front-loading washer, and it sucked some socks or something down the drain, caused a clog, and the plumber came and said, "Oh, you got to use a laundry bag so the stuff."
Never actually never heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
But it probably is with front loading washer.
Yeah. Well, your mom did your laundry, so maybe that's why you don't know.
I've never had front-loading laundry. Mr. Fancy Pants. I gotta use the apartment complex ones like Sesame Street.
Oh, but one last thing, one last point. So teachers sometimes it's leading to this phenomenon where parents are coming and arguing with their kids' teachers when their teachers are trying to discipline them in class.
Yeah.
That is so fucking obnoxious. You're going to bat for your kid? What the fuck do you think the teacher's doing? You think they're sitting there conspiring against your little shit? You think your little shit's that special that your teacher's gonna sit there trying to come up with ways to fuck with them? No, your teacher doesn't give a shit. They're trying to do their job and go home. You know they're working long fucking hours. You know they don't have time to sit there thinking of ways to fuck with your stupid little monster. If the teacher says your kid disrespected him or her in class, guess what? He probably did. The teacher has better things to do than to make up stories and get you to come down and meet her or him for a parent-teacher conference. People have shit to do. They have busy lives. They have lives to lead. They don't have time for this shit. If your teacher is telling you your kid is having a problem in school, listen to them. That's the biggest problem with helicopter parenting. Okay.
It's the job link now.
You have threatened to bring this in law. Well, what is it?
Job. Same thing. It doesn't matter. You have found guilty. It's just a bunch of people who decided see. Maybe they hang you. Not necessarily though, to be a lynch mob. Imagine the same thing. Happens a lot. Every time it happens, I want to bring it in. Every time something more important comes along, like throwing your mouth on hot food, or bringing a funny bone. This time, nothing. This time, only Prince died and someone got kicked off a $20 bill. No big deal. Nothing controversial to talk about there. So those aren't going to happen again. Okay. Prince? Prince is probably not going to drive for it. Not in our lifetime. That's good. They might regret him later on. They'll always regret for it. There's hologram.
I think that way that Trinity is on the back.
Wow. I wish they'd figure out a way to make good music.
But this lynch mob, this is an ongoing thing.
It's an ongoing thing. I think it's good. It's virtual. No, commentator.
I've heard of them, but I don't know.
I'm going to breeze through it because I'm sure it's of interest to nobody who listens. Famous baseball pitcher, commentator on YouTube. Fired for making a defensive.
Well, it's good.
Isn't that?
Yes.
Why?
Well, what is the animal?
Does that deserve? This is a serious question. Does it deserve to be fired? You deserve to be fired. If you want a society where you are fired for saying something funny, you want a society where your employer has the freedom to let you go if you misrepresent them. Yes, of course we know that it's a contract. Oh, come on. Let's rise above that conversation. Because it's just going on all day. I'm thinking pieces and pieces. They were employed by a company, said something embarrassing to the company. Okay. I wish we found that more offensive than the original offensive thing. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay. Doesn't matter. How bad would it have to be for them to be fired? Let's say Gilbert Gottfried. Japan. Rocked by a huge book, right? Let's see now. He says freedom jokes. Japan's so advanced, they're bringing the beach to them. Perfect, right? Not funny, right? Fighting. Okay, using that consequence enough for a man to lose his life because, you know what?
You're seeing the decline in man losing his livelihood, but you're forgetting an important factor. These are business, and businesses are in the business of making money. And if they piss off their customers by hiring a sponsor or spokesperson who's making asinine remarks that are insensitive after an earthquake and people threaten to boycott that business, guess what? The livelihood that's being threatened is not Gilbert Gottfried, it's now theirs. And they have every right and reason and justification to let him go. I don't think it's wrong.
Well, all I'm asking for you is take that argument, which is obvious, and everybody knows that it is. Put it aside for the sake of the conversation. Obviously, I'm not talking about enacting some kind of bizarro law where companies are no longer allowed to put behavior clauses in contracts. There's nothing insane like that. All I'm saying is the idea of taking someone's job away is the same as harming their physical in a lot of ways. Taking away their ability to make money. Remember that guy that killed Cecil, that dentist? Yeah. What did the mob want to do? They wanted to destroy his business. That's right. That somehow, we all look at that and say, well, that's okay. I think that's way worse than anything he could have said or done. I think it's comparable to harming someone physically. Because you're doing the max that you can do, the most amount of harm you can do to someone is take away their ability to feed themselves, take away all the work they've done for however many years to get where they are, to just take it away by the force of the mob. Like it's the maximum legally allowable amount of force that a mob can do to someone.
Yeah, it can be overly harsh.
And it's always up. It's never just.
And we're so politically correct now. We're so afraid to offend anybody that it's just the hatchet comes down almost immediately.
And that's the only direction that it works in. It only works as an arm of political correctness. I'm not bringing in political correctness right now. Probably will someday. But that's what it is to me, and that's why it's so horrible. Of course, Of course, a company can fire anyone they want, but tolerate.
Listen,
And it's ugly.
um,
It's an ugly thing.
listen, I heard you both. Hannity, Beck, I appreciate your comments.
God,
I appreciate your comments. Now, there's a very simple rephrasing of your problem that will help cast this problem into a new perspective, and that is this.
Oh wait, I already did this.
Right.
No, it'll give you a new perspective. That is this. They are not taking away anything. They are giving him a job, right?
The dentist?
Anyone who's employed, anyone who said anything, they're not having their jobs taken away. They're having their jobs given to them.
The dentist definitely is.
I'm talking about the
Trying to know
employees.
what it is.
Well, this Kurt, what's the name? Kurt Schilling. Schilling.
Well, I'm talking about the job, Lynch.
Well, yeah, but let's look at this from the point of view of the employers.
But again, we've said, yes, of course, they have the right to do anything they want. Of course, they have the right to protect everything.
No, but you're saying that it's comparable to physical violence, to take away their job, it's so bad, it's like, oh my gosh, there's nothing worse.
I just think sometimes the bar is too low.
Oh, is there a bar?
Well,
Is it just momentum?
what did he say?
I mean, if you don't know, that should say enough. It wasn't offensive to get through your filter, and you're usually pretty hip on current events.
I do know what it says. mob is totally at this outrage machine that costs this poor guy his job.
Man,
As a poor
I'll
man.
say whatever you want. I'm not personally offended by it. I mean, it's his opinion.
I'll read this tweet.
I just don't think the offensiveness of it is germane to this conversation.
It absolutely
To
is.
be fair, he has a long track record.
Oh, and so did Gilbert Gottfried. That's
Okay.
why he's famous. That's why they hired him. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now he's representing a huge corporation who can't have any egg on their face.
Right.
But Schilling, he has repeated this.
Of course.
And been warned and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel too bad for him.
no, of course not. No, go ahead.
This is according to the New York Times. It says the post. So he posted on Twitter. It says the post showed an overweight man wearing a wig and women's clothing with parts of the T-shirt cut out to expose his breasts. It says, "Let him in to the restroom with your daughter, or else you're a narrow-minded, judgmental, unloving, racist bigot who needs to die." Not a very sophisticated comment on the ongoing debate that's going on right now in North Carolina, where they passed this bill that is trying to prevent people who are transsexual from using restrooms of the opposite sex. They want people with their biologically aligned genders to use the restroom that matches their gender. So that means people who have been post-operational, who look like women, men who now look like women, or women who now look like men. They have to go into the opposite bathroom just because of this weird law, which is like such a non-issue. There's never been any sexual assaults or anything like that from these transsexuals going to the bathroom. It's not where it happens. To that, Schilling added, "A man is a man no matter what they call themselves. I don't care what they are, who they sleep with. Men's room was designed for the penis. Women's, not so much. Now you need laws telling us differently? Pathetic." That's what he said.
You have more to add?
That's the whole comment.
Well, right. We all knew what he said.
Oh, okay.
What, you were going to add to it?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. It does sound transphobic.
So then you agree with the mob.
What mob? What mob? Where is this mob? What are you talking
The
about?
mob is who everyone is afraid of. That's why everyone gets fired. That's why Gilbert Gottfried got fired. Because companies are terrified of people who are offended by that. It's a guy's... maybe it's just me. When I hear an opinion I don't like, I don't want that person to be punished into lying about it. I'd like it to be expressed so it can be dissected. So it can be argued with.
Therein lies the rub with taking corporate influence when it comes to your speech. Because if they decide, for whatever reason, what you said, even if it's innocuous, let's say what he said wasn't transphobic. Let's just say he just said something flippant that they didn't like. They can decide for any reason that it's going to be a harm to their potential customer base, and they can let you go. And by this mob, you keep saying it's a mob, it's a mob, it's a mob. What they are customers. And they're customers who are buying a product. And if their customers are unhappy, that's basically your shareholders. You have to respond to your shareholders. And when they're mad, guess what? You get rid of the problem. What do
I
they have to
feel like you're
gain?
explaining the basics of business about this.
Here's the
We
thing,
all
though.
know that.
What do they have to
We
gain
all
by
know
keeping
that.
this guy? What do they have to gain?
Sometimes they think that they know what's going to offend the masses.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's a very small percentage of
It's
letters
instant.
they get, or it's an old lady saying, I heard the F word somewhere, and then
It's the same way books get banned.
It
The
goes on
library
this
gets
whole thing.
letters for something's offensive. Well, all these people are offensive. The parents, television council, that one company that's responsible for just generating outrage and contacting whomever in order to censor them. It's those kinds of people that they're afraid of. There just exists this machine of outrage.
No, the Parent Television Research Council is a lobbying group that is specifically pushing conservative agendas and specifically conservative Christian agendas. And they're trying to keep the airwaves clean, and they're doing it in a really shady way. Libraries, on the other hand, don't have corporate influences. That's why I like libraries. And that's why if a library banned a book, that's a huge story. That's a big deal. That's why libraries can have any number of CD books in their record. They can have hate speech. They can have anything you could possibly want under the sun. They can have it there. But as for this Kurt Schilling guy, he said something irresponsible, and this mob that you keep calling them are customers essentially. Now, let me ask you this.
But it's really a lot of people this happens.
Well, let me ask you this. We're specifically talking about this because that's why you brought it in. Sean said that You said it's a small percentage of people who are outraged or offended?
No, I'm saying that
There's no way to know.
Yeah, there's no way to
There's
know.
no way.
If
Well,
they
there
just
is.
chop it off at the knees, then you know.
Oh,
they-
that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they-
Sean said that they are proactive. They're being proactive here, and they're assuming. Well, in this case, were they being proactive, or was there
It was
outrage?
instantaneous.
In this case, I think he had gotten enough backlash. And again, this case, I think he absolutely deserved to be fired.
I don't even want to get into that because it says it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It does. It does. What you say matters. You should be. Look, you have the freedom of speech in this country. I'm so fucking tired of morons, armchair constitutionalists sitting there. That's freedom of speech. How come I got banned on your forum? Because guess what, shithead? You still have the freedom of speech. You just don't have to say it wherever you want. You can't come into my fucking house and spew your bullshit. Get the fuck out. If you want freedom of speech, go to the sidewalk and say whatever the fuck you want. You can say whatever you want. You can write in your blog. You can text it to friends. Do whatever you want. But when you do it in a public forum, when you're representing another company, yeah, guess what? There are consequences. You have freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequence. What's the problem? I don't see the disconnect. He has the freedom to say whatever he wants, and now he can do it completely unrestrained. In fact, who was the employer? The MLB? Major League Baseball? Whatever.
ESPN, I believe.
ESPN. Now they've done him a favor because now he can go say whatever he wants completely unrestrained. Aren't they doing a good thing for this guy?
It's also all owned by Disney.
Well, that's true.
So you know
Lord
they're
of
gonna
Disney.
be-
Lord of Disney, buggos.
Yeah, I thought you would have this opinion on it. The only reason I brought it in
Yeah.
is simply to say that the idea of firing someone, taking away their livelihood, because of something they said, I wish was more abhorrent than anything you could say. Because using intimidation and violence to force people not to say what they think, to force them to toe a politically correct line, is, I think, one of the most damaging things in society that there could be in a free society, because it's a stepping stone. It's part of control. It's a mechanism of control.
Slippery slope, Maddox.
That's why I brought it in. It's not to have these elementary and academic arguments about contracts and branding and this and that and the other. It's that everyone immediately accepts it as, well, they're just covering their ass. He said something bad. You gotta punish that. And I really disagree with that. It happens. So there's this guy. I mean, this has already gotten too long, but there was a guy, Violent Acres, on Reddit. It was on, doing lewd things on the internet, as the whole point of the internet is. And he got outed for doing it, instantly fired. And everyone treats this as some kind of victory, but it should make people sick. That because of someone's opinions and thoughts, they lose their ability to support themselves. Just hang him. Just skip the step. Do what you really want to do, which is kill him. And that's what you're saying when you celebrate somebody getting fired for something like this. Is you're the kind of person that's okay rounding up a posse and executing them.
I don't like
And
the
I
snap
think
judge-
that's bullshit.
I don't like the snap judgment part here.
Me either.
Where you don't even get the whole story a lot.
No, because people don't care.
Hold on, Dick. You're being so flip about thoughts and what our beliefs are. What our beliefs and our thoughts are the only thing that separates us from people who like the Ku Klux Klan. Would you hire a Ku Klux Klan member to represent your country? Look, we're talking specifically, this is an American problem, this happened in America. Let's talk about the Ku Klux Klan. Would you hire a Ku Klux Klanman to represent your company?
Is that a serious question?
Absolutely.
How is that possibly a serious question, Matt?
Would you give a job to someone like that?
Like you're acting all pissed off, are you seriously asking me a question? Would you hire that?
Well, you're exactly a real question. You're coming out here saying, well, you're making this lofty claim that we are punishing people for their thoughts, right? And their thoughts. But the only thing that makes someone reprehensible is their beliefs. And if you went out,
No, it's their actions. It's their fucking actions. That's why I knew you wouldn't get this. Because you do think it's a thought crime. It's the crime is the action. The Ku Klux Klan, which is specifically used because they've committed tons of acts of violence, and now there's 10,000 people in the Ku Klux Klan now. It's not even a thing. It's like it's like a club. There's nobody there. There's way worse groups out there than the Ku Klux Klan. But it's the same as Hitler. And
It's the difference between being prejudiced and then going forward to discriminate.
Yeah, that's discrimination.
Okay, so you have an employee, let's say Dick Masterson Construction.
Again,
But you have Dick Masterson Construction Company. You have an employee that comes out and says something transphobic. Like, you know what? I think trans people should be burned at the stake because they're less than human, less than whatever people think they come out and say. Now you are saying that there should be moral outrage for people who would want to get rid of someone like that, rather than the person who has those beliefs, who says those hateful things. Can't incite violence towards people. Look, I'm not a big fan of thought crimes.
Question?
Yeah, it's your company. You would want someone like that representing your company.
You can dislike that. I mean, yeah. Are you asking if I would like that? You just said you would like someone like
No, I'm
that.
asking, would you?
Are you fucking serious? Would I like someone going around saying bisexuals should be killed? Would representing my company?
Would you fire someone like for that or not?
That is how much of it is. Did they post the wrong Twitter account? Look.
Would you have?
Yeah, you tell me that. That's what we're going. Yeah, I think you're kind of fundamentally missing my argument. One is offensive, and everyone recognizes it's offensive. One is horrible. And it plays to our base nature. We just like a mob to harm someone and accelerate. That's the job lynch mob that I'm talking about. And that can happen way more than the first fucking show. You know, the guys, like it happens to people. Happen to Mel Gibson. It happens to people. It happens to people, and I think it's going to happen more and more. I'm not defending Mel Gibson. I'm saying the things people say could result in them being harmed. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, first of all, he's not being harmed. I think ESPN has done Kurt Schilling a favor by firing him. Because then the kid has absolute freedom to say whatever hateful scream he wants. By the way, his Twitter should be blowing up. Make all the dick jokes, make all the vagina jokes. Yeah, give it to those fucking creepy transsexuals. The masses give it to them.
The masses always have the option.
Exactly. And by the way, Sean, and that's what they're trying to prevent. ESPN is trying to prevent the masses from
Of course, we all know that.
Okay, so let me pose this hypothetical.
Is it another, like, will I make out a Hitler question, or is it something remotely
You're literally the only person on the show who's mentioned Hitler today is you.
Max, the only reason you use the Ku Klux Klan is because you know that using Hitler is stupid.
No, they just substitute the Hitler is dead, and the Ku Klux Klan is still contemporary.
They're still Nazis.
Okay, does it matter?
Go ahead, what's the question?
What's the real question? Here's the hypothetical. Let's say that it wasn't Kurt Schilling working for ESPN, a private organization. Let's say someone who works for the whatever. It's a publicly traded, but it's still corporate. Let's say it's someone who works for the government who says this. What do you think the response and repercussions are?
What are you talking about?
Let's say Kurt Schilling was working for the U.S. government. He was a congressman, and he said that tweet. What do you think the response should be? Or would be?
Depends what district he's from.
Let's say
Isn't that the point of politics?
let's say he's neither from a far left or far right, just someplace right in the middle.
He might get elected president.
Oh yeah, he might never. How long was Strom Thurmond a congressman? And he said way worse than that.
Yeah. So you think that
Did that question go where you thought it was going to go? Like that's what people vote for.
I'm asking to spur conversation. I'm not really sure if I have a point. I'm actually sincerely curious what you think if you think that government working for the government can afford you more protection than working for corporations.
Working for, like, if you're at the DMV and you're on Twitter saying stuff.
No, the example I gave you, congressman.
Well, yeah, and then I said you could give elected for life. Depends what district you're in. I mean, Anthony Weiner tweeted his dick out, which is not really a big deal,
Yeah.
and he resigned immediately because of the horrifying mob justice that was going to ensue. Right? Well, just get it out. Like, well, why?
Well, that was the problem.
John with the
That's my
zinger.
problem. I'm sure I had
All
something
right.
else, but I don't care.
Well, I don't know, Dick. Did Kurt Schilling shave? I mean, I know he doesn't have a job. He's got to save some
Oh, I
money.
should have done that earlier. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Harry's. Please visit harrys.com and use the promo code BIGGESTPROBLEMS to save $5 off your first purchase. I'm saying it weird because they changed the promo code.
Yeah.
Too many people were getting great shaves at a reasonable price. So they
Yeah.
had to change it. So pay attention. They want smart shoppers because that's what you have to be if you're buying Harry's razor. It's biggest problems at Harry's.com to save $5 off your first purchase. You know what you can get with that first starter pack too?
You get the shaving gel.
Yeah, well, I want
You
to make
get-
sure I get exactly right. For just $15, you get a razor, you get moisturizing shave cream, and you get 3 razor blades. How about that? Over 1 million guys have made the switch. I definitely made the switch. I'm never going back. I don't know about you.
Absolutely. Look, I shaved this morning with Harris. Look at this.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks great.
I look like a stealth bomber.
You do look like a stealth. Over 1 million guys have made the switch. I mean, even if your mom has been shaving you your whole life, it's time for you to learn how to do it yourself.
Alright guys, I'm going to take a break, get some food, and I'll be back later when it's time to do the Jurassic Sphere.
It's quality German-engineered 5-blade cartridges, a close, comfortable shave, no cuts or burns. Quality